Poor single mom Maya accidentally sat in first class with her crying baby, expecting to be thrown out immediately. But when the CEO beside her told the flight attendant, "They're traveling with me," her life changed forever. Before watching full story, comment below from where you watching full story, comment below from where you watching, also like and subscribe for more stories. Maya Rodriguez clutched her crying 6-month-old son Diego tightly as she hurried down the airplane aisle, her diaper bag slipping off her shoulder and her boarding pass crumpled in her sweaty palm. She was already 15 minutes late for boarding, and the flight attendants were giving her impatient looks. "Excuse me, ma'am," one of them said as Maya struggled to read her seat number while bouncing Diego. "We need to get everyone seated quickly." Maya's hands shook as she tried to decipher the smudged numbers on her boarding pass. She had bought the cheapest ticket possible, a last-minute flight from Los Angeles to Chicago that had cost her nearly all the money she had saved. Her sister Carmen was getting married, and despite everything that had happened in the past year, Maya couldn't miss it. 24F, she finally made out. But as she walked down the aisle, the numbers seemed to be going in the wrong direction. 2F, 3F, 4F. Maya stopped, confused. She looked at her boarding pass again, squinting at the faded printing. In her exhaustion and stress, she had misread it completely. The seat number was 2F, not 24F. She was in first class. Maya had never been in first class in her life. The seats were enormous, like leather recliners, and there was so much space between the rows. Everything looked expensive and pristine, and Maya suddenly became very aware of her worn jeans, her old sneakers with the hole in the toe, and the fact that Diego had spit up on her shirt that morning. She looked around desperately for a flight attendant to help her, but they were all busy with other passengers. Diego was getting fussier by the minute and people were starting to stare. With no other choice, Maya slid into seat 2F, hoping she could figure out the mistake once they were in the air. She tried to make herself as small as possible, bouncing Diego gently and whispering Spanish lullabies to calm him down. "First time flying first class?" came a warm voice from beside her. Maya turned to see a distinguished-looking man in his 50s, wearing an expensive suit and a kind smile. He had salt and pepper hair and intelligent brown eyes that reminded her of her father. I think I'm in the wrong seat," Maya said quietly, her cheeks burning with embarrassment. "I'm sorry, I'll move as soon as." "Nonsense," the man said firmly. "You're exactly where you should be. I'm Robert Chin, by the way." "Maya Rodriguez," she replied automatically, then immediately regretted giving her real name. What if he reported her to the flight crew? Diego chose that moment to let out a particularly loud wail, and Maya felt every passenger in first class turn to look at them. She wanted to disappear. "I'm so sorry," she whispered, frantically digging through her diaper bag for a pacifier. "He's usually not like this. I think he's scared of flying." "Don't apologize," Robert said gently. "How old is he?" 6 months. This is his first flight." Maya found the pacifier and offered it to Diego, who thankfully accepted it and began to calm down. "Beautiful boy," Robert observed. "He looks just like you." Maya felt tears prick her eyes at the kindness in the stranger's voice. It had been so long since anyone had said anything nice about her or Diego. The flight attendant appeared beside their row with a bright, professional smile. "Mr. Chin, wonderful to see you again. And who do we have here?" She looked at Maya with polite curiosity. Maya's heart sank. This was it. She would be moved to her real seat in coach, probably with everyone watching. The humiliation would be unbearable. "This is Maya and her son Diego," Robert said smoothly. "They're traveling with me today." The flight attendant's smile became even warmer. "How lovely. Can I get either of you anything before takeoff? Perhaps a bottle warmer for the little one?" Maya stared at Robert in shock, but he just winked at her. "That would be wonderful," he told the flight attendant. "And maybe some extra pillows and blankets for Maya. Flying with a baby can be exhausting." After the flight attendant left, Maya turned to Robert with tears in her eyes. "Why did you do that? You don't even know me." Robert was quiet for a moment, looking at Diego, who had fallen asleep against Maya's chest. 25 years ago, I was on a flight from Seoul to San Francisco. I was young, spoke very little English, and I was terrified. I had come to America with nothing but a suitcase and a dream to start a tech company." He paused, adjusting his seat belt. "I accidentally sat in first class too. I was so embarrassed, so scared they would throw me off the plane. But the man sitting next to me, an older American businessman, told the flight crew I was his guest. He spent the entire flight giving me advice about starting a business in America." Maya listened intently as Diego slept peacefully. "That man's kindness changed my life," Robert continued. Not just because he saved me from embarrassment, but because he showed me that success comes with the responsibility to help others. His name was Frank Morrison, and he became my mentor, my business partner, and eventually like a father to me. What happened to him? Robert smiled sadly. He passed away last year. But before he died, he made me promise to always look for opportunities to pay forward the kindness he showed me. Maya wiped away a tear. So you're helping me because someone helped you? I'm helping you because everyone deserves kindness, especially young mothers who are clearly doing their best under difficult circumstances. As the plane took off, Maya found herself telling Robert her story. How Diego's father had left when she was 7 months pregnant. How she had dropped out of nursing school because she couldn't afford both tuition and prenatal care. How she had been working 2 jobs, cleaning offices at night and waitressing during the day, just to make ends meet. My sister Carmen is getting married tomorrow, Maya said softly. She's the only family I have left. Our parents died in a car accident 3 years ago. Carmen has been begging me to come to the wedding, even offered to pay for my ticket, but I'm too proud to take her money. So you spent your savings instead? Maya nodded. Almost everything I had. I know it was stupid, but I couldn't miss her wedding. She's been there for me through everything. Robert listened without judgment, occasionally asking gentle questions. He told her about his own company, Chin Technologies, which had grown from a one-person startup to a major corporation with thousands of employees. The most important thing I learned, he said, is that money and success don't mean anything if you don't use them to make the world a little better. Halfway through the flight, Diego woke up hungry. Maya tried to feed him as discreetly as possible, but she was clearly uncomfortable nursing in such a public space. Robert noticed her distress and quietly spoke to the flight attendant. Within minutes, Maya was escorted to a private area where she could feed Diego comfortably. When she returned, she found Robert had ordered her a full meal from the first-class menu. I can't accept this, Maya protested. You've already done too much. When was the last time you had a real meal? Robert asked gently. Maya realized she couldn't remember. Between working and taking care of Diego, she usually just grabbed whatever was quick and cheap. As she ate the best meal she'd had in months, Robert asked about her nursing studies. I was 2 semesters away from graduating, Maya said wistfully. I've always wanted to be a pediatric nurse. I love kids and I wanted to help families going through difficult times. Why did you choose pediatrics? Maya looked down at Diego, who was playing with her finger. Because children are pure. They don't care if you're rich or poor, what you look like, or where you come from. They just need love and care. I wanted to be part of giving them that. Robert was quiet for a long moment. Maya, can I ask you something? Of course. If money wasn't an issue, would you go back to school? Maya laughed, but there was no humor in it. Money is always an issue when you're a single mother. But yes, if I could, I would finish my degree in a heartbeat. What if I told you there might be a way? Maya looked at him suspiciously. What do you mean? Robert pulled out his business card and handed it to her. Chin Technologies has a scholarship program for single parents returning to school. We cover tuition, provide childcare assistance, and offer part-time internships that work around class schedules. Maya stared at the card. Why are you telling me this? Because I have a feeling you're exactly the kind of person our program was designed to help. I don't understand. You just met me. Robert smiled. Maya, in the past 3 hours, I've watched you calm a crying baby with infinite patience, apologize to everyone around you even though you did nothing wrong, and put your child's needs above your own comfort constantly. You told me you want to be a pediatric nurse because you love helping children. Do you think those are qualities I can teach someone? Maya felt tears streaming down her face. Are you serious about the scholarship? Completely serious. If you're interested, I can put you in touch with our program coordinator when we land. Diego chose that moment to grab Robert's finger and gurgle happily at him. Robert laughed, a warm sound that made other passengers smile. He likes you, Maya observed. Smart kid. He knows a good investment when he sees one. As they began their descent into Chicago, Robert turned to Maya with a more serious expression. Maya, I want you to know something. The scholarship program is real, and if you qualify, you've earned it based on your own merits. But I also want to do something else. He pulled out a checkbook and began writing. I want to give you this, no strings attached. Maya looked at the check and gasped. It was for $5,000. I can't accept this, she said immediately. It's too much. It's not charity, Robert said firmly. It's an investment. Frank Morrison invested in me 25 years ago, and that investment created thousands of jobs and generated millions in revenue. More importantly, it created opportunities for me to help other people. He folded the check and tucked it into her diaper bag. I'm investing in you because I believe you're going to make a difference in this world. Maybe you'll be the nurse who saves a child's life. Maybe you'll comfort a scared parent. Maybe someday you'll be in a position to help someone else the way I'm helping you. How do you know I won't just take the money and disappear? Robert looked at Diego, then back at Maya. Because everything about you tells me you're a person of integrity. The way you care for your son, the way you work multiple jobs to support him, the way you spent your last money to be there for your sister. Those aren't the actions of someone who takes advantage of others. As the plane taxied to the gate, Maya felt overwhelmed by the kindness of this stranger who had completely changed her life in the span of a 3-hour flight. Robert, she said softly, I don't know how to thank you. Don't thank me yet. Thank me when you're a nurse helping other families. Thank me when you're successful and happy. Thank me by paying it forward someday. They gathered their belongings as passengers began disembarking. Maya strapped Diego into his carrier and shouldered her diaper bag, still processing everything that had happened. As they walked off the plane together, Robert asked, Do you need help getting to your sister's wedding? I was going to take the bus, Maya admitted. Robert shook his head and signaled to a man in a suit waiting near the gate. This is Marcus, my driver. He'll take you wherever you need to go. Robert, I can't. Yes, you can. Consider it part of the investment. Maya hugged him then, right there in the airport with Diego between them. Thank you, she whispered. For everything. For seeing me as more than just a poor girl who sat in the wrong seat. Maya, Robert said gently, you were never in the wrong seat. Sometimes life puts us exactly where we need to be. 6 months later, Maya was back in nursing school, excelling in her classes and working part-time at Chin Technologies Medical Clinic. The scholarship had covered everything just as Robert had promised. Diego was thriving in the company's childcare center, and Maya had even started dating another single parent she'd met in the program. One day, she received a call from Robert's assistant asking if she could come to his office. Maya found Robert behind his desk, but this time he wasn't alone. A young woman with a crying baby was sitting across from him, looking overwhelmed and scared. Maya, Robert said with a smile, I'd like you to meet Sarah. She's a single mother who's interested in our nursing program. I thought maybe you could tell her about your experience. Maya looked at Sarah, at her worn clothes, her tired eyes, her beautiful baby, and saw herself 6 months ago. Hi Sarah, Maya said warmly, sitting down beside her. Tell me about yourself. As Sarah told her story, dropped out of school, working minimum wage jobs, struggling to provide for her child, Maya found herself thinking about Frank Morrison, the businessman who had helped Robert 25 years ago. She thought about how one act of kindness on an airplane had created a ripple effect that was still spreading, still changing lives, still making the world a little better. When Sarah finished talking, Maya reached into her purse and pulled out a business card. This is my supervisor at the hospital where I do my clinical rotations, she said. They're looking for part-time help in the pediatric ward. It's not much, but it's a start and it might help while you're in school. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. Why would you help me? You don't even know me. Maya smiled, thinking of Robert's words. Because everyone deserves kindness. And because someone once helped me when I needed it most. 2 years later, Maya walked across the stage at her nursing school graduation. In the audience, Robert applauded loudly, holding Diego, now a rambunctious toddler, on his lap. Beside them sat Sarah, who was halfway through her own nursing program. After the ceremony, Robert approached Maya with a small gift box. What's this? Maya asked. Open it. Inside was a small airplane pin, the kind flight attendants wear. To remind you, Robert said, that sometimes the most important journeys begin with sitting in the wrong seat. Maya hugged him tightly. Thank you. For everything. For believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. Thank you, Robert replied, for showing me that Frank Morrison was right. The best investments we make are in people. 5 years after that flight, Maya was the head nurse in the pediatric intensive care unit at Chicago Children's Hospital. She had started a program that provided support for single parents with hospitalized children, offering everything from childcare to financial assistance. And once a month, she volunteered at Chin Technologies, talking to new scholarship recipients about their dreams and possibilities. At each meeting, she would tell them the same thing Robert had told her. You're not in the wrong place. Sometimes life puts us exactly where we need to be. Because that's the thing about kindness, it doesn't just change the person who receives it. It changes everyone it touches, creating an endless chain of compassion that can transform the world, one airplane seat at a time. And sometimes, if you're very lucky, sitting in the wrong seat turns out to be the most right thing that ever happened to you.